Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing good. Actually, you know what? What I really wanted to say, and I hesitated and edited. What I really wanted to say is, "Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well." That's the greeting from one of the channels that I follow, Daisy Cousins. She's a Australian conservative woman, and I just love her sense of humor, her her perspective, her down to earthness, and she's got the eye roll down to an art form. She'll do an eye roll that will you almost have to applaud it, and that's the way Daisy Cousins always. So this is a tribute and an homage to her. Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. I just love that opening. So anyway, uh, I want to talk a little bit about well, talk about this the small story because my last video was the briefing from the big story, the 5D, and because I am a multidimensional being, I'm consciously aware of the fact that I'm a multidimensional being. Frequency wise, I can go up and down, and I can adjust my perspective based on whatever frequency that, even though there's the overall big story frequency that I view everything from, I can come into the small story and analyze and communicate at the small story level, and then I can go right back up to the big story and or be up there and like the bit this is like me, because Michael, very rarely come into the small story and play as if it's real. I can talk to, like, my housemates, they're all in the small story. Some of them are like, because I talk to them and they're starting to wonder, okay, well, what's going on, yada yada, and they want to hear my perspective on what's going on, so I can talk to them at that level. If I chose to, I can go, play street thug and all of that. I can talk that street language, but it's not mine to do, so I just simply don't. But I have engaged in those frequencies in the past. So anyway, what I really want to talk about was not that. What I really want to talk about is, again, I say it over and over and over. Embrace the big story. And now I'm even quoting Q now because Q is part of my reality, an integral part of my reality. Q, the Q team, the White Hat Alliance here on the planet, and the White Hat Alliance, the light, the White Hat slash Light Galactic Alliance on the higher dimensions. We're all in this together. And I don't know if I mentioned it. I was talking to, I think it was my sister after I posted that last video. I was telling her about the 5D briefing because I had been informed in during the briefing to not only make a video and share with you guys, but I was specifically told to tell Cynthia. So I tried talking to her before the video, but I couldn't get a hold of her. But afterwards, I did share with her. So anyway, what was I talking about? Okay, I got me some notes here. Okay, expand your thinking. I have to keep saying that. And in that expanding your thinking, expand your sense of self. Okay? That's part of embracing the big story is, what is your identity? Who do you know yourself to be? Are you a struggling human? I know it looks real, smells real, feels real, sounds real, tastes real. Your third dimensional your five senses and your third dimensional reality could possibly convince you that you are a struggling human. You know, life's a bitch and then you die. That's what the third dimensional reality will tell you. It does not embrace the big story that you are multidimensional, you're divine, and you're eternal. The small story does not embrace that. It doesn't know it, so it can't know it can't tell you what it doesn't know. So I admonish every one of you to really seriously consider, if you haven't already, that you truly are a big story character. There is a big story character in your multidimensional self. The fact that you're a multidimensional being is a big story perspective. And again, expand your sense of self. That's the key, really. That's really what it all is expand your sense of self. What I wanted to, another piece that came to me today when I was putzing around all morning long, all of these little notes were coming up in my head. And I had a revelation. And a revelation is a revealing. Basically, removing of another layer of the God's veil that's over my/our consciousness. And I remember telling you guys about, in a past video, in the first set last year, I was telling you about the story of how I saw myself and Georgia, my wife/spiritual partner at the time, saw us as co-commanders of a fleet of 17 spaceships. But what I didn't share in that video when I was sharing that experience, that I had initially gone to that session with our friend Karen Cash. I went to that session and it was basically past life regressions. And I'm sure in the slash new age community, metaphysical community, you're aware of that, past life regressions. So we were doing that. And it's like, I literally saw uh, myself and Georgianne during the Spanish Inquisition. Uh, I was a Spanish soldier. I wasn't up in the higher of the Catholic hierarchy. I was just a foot soldier. And now I don't want to get into the whole story. Well, yeah, I might as well tell you now why. Yeah, just real quick. One of the scenes that I saw where Georgianne and I were in the same incarnation, just like we were in the same incarnation in this now time where we were husband and wife. I saw us as where in that incarnation of the Spanish Inquisition time, uh, I was a I was a soldier of the Catholic Church, and Georgianne was considered a heretic, a witch, and because she spoke against not against Christianity, she spoke about spirituality, and she was actually a wanted character, and I had kind of found out who she was, but something about her and her message intrigued me. And I started like secretly attending their meetings, even though I was a soldier in the Spanish in the Catholic Church, the Spanish Catholic Church that was doing the Inquisition, and it was my duty to arrest her and turn her in. But I was secretly attending the meetings, and unbeknownst to me, I was being watched, and that's how they tracked Georgianne and her group down by following me to their meetings. So we were all arrested, and I was hung, and I was executed. So was she, but I was executed. I was hung, but not only was I hung, I was stabbed in the back, right in my heart. I was stabbed in my heart, but from the rear. And most of my adult life, I've had a pain in my back, just right at my shoulder blade, that I could barely reach and scratch or massage, but it was always this kind of like size of a quarter. And it was just always this pain there. And you notice how I wear V-neck shirts for the most part. Back in the day in the 90s, I would not wear, like you see me in a few t-shirts with a collar, but kind of loose collar, but I prefer V-neck. And back in the day, what I used to do, when we were on the truck, every time I bought a brand new t-shirt, the first thing I did was got a razor blade and I cut the collar off. I absolutely could not stand anything around my neck. I didn't know why, but that was just one of Michael Green's idiosyncrasies, you know. And but then I found out in that past life regression, that's why I had that issue with something around my neck and that pain in my back because I was executed. And after that incident, that those issues have gone away. I still like the comfort of a V-neck T-shirt, but I'm not so freaked out about wearing just a regular crew cut T-shirt. But I still prefer this. But that's just me. Anyway, saw a bunch of other stuff. Uh, scenes of us. One where we were in slave times. here in the United States, and Georgianne was my twin sister. My oldest sister was our mother. Now, this is another vision, another story. No, but anyway, that's a whole different story. I can tell that didn't happen. Then this was through another session. But anyway, I'm starting to get this stuff mixed up. But anyway, uh, during that session, when it was basically a past life regression, that scene where I saw us in the spaceships, I knew then that it was a future session. I had seen my future self, where I had seen, multiple past life experiences, Georgianne and and this one where I, and come to find out later, she had the same vision. We were seeing our future selves as co-commanders of a fleet of 17 spaceships. Okay, and I've always known that to be true. The number 17 has been all through our lives. I remember Georgianne had a message from Spirit, and it was just a question, and all it was the number 17 mean anything to you? And she basically channeled that data, and we like, does number 17 mean anything to you? And we both looked at it, and we kind of like examined it, and all of a sudden, yeah, we lived right across the street from the cop shop in Chicago, where our apartment was. It was right across, here's the, third floor, here's the alley, and then across the street is the back of the cop shop. Right there, you just look out our bedroom window and just look at the back of the cop shop, the parking lot, the back door, the side, part we can see as much of the side street. Anyway, that was the 17th, Chicago 17th Police District or Precinct. But yeah, we lived in the 17th precinct of Chicago Police, and we lived right across the street from the precinct house. Uh, we would be like backing up to checking in to load or unload some freight, and you go in and you check in, and they give you a door, and more times than not, we get the door number 17, and we thought about that and go, yeah, there's a lot of 17s. There was other 17s, yeah, but anyway, after Q, I was just a few months ago, I was like bumming around the house. This was before I moved, so this was last year, but I was still in the queue. And it just hit me clear as day. Does the number, I heard it just as loud and clear in my head, does the number 17 mean anything to you? Well, Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. So yeah, the number 17 means a whole lot to me. So anyway, that was a revelation. And and the revelation I had today, just today, was based on that future vision. That instead of the past life regression with Karen, I also had a future vision of us. And then this morning, uh, layer of gauze was removed, and it said, what I saw was we, the extraterrestrials that are here participating in this, in planet Earth's next step in evolution, those extraterrestrials in the ships, that's us. We, our future selves, are in the ships just outside of our five senses perception, just a few octaves above what we can perceive with our five senses. But yeah, we're here. We came back from the future. Though we're our future. Oh man, it is so paradoxically confusing. We are simultaneously here on the ground in the trenches as the away teams from who we are, our future selves, in the ships. Because in the fifth dimension, there is no linear time. So we can be, in our fifth dimensional selves, we can be bilocated. We can be there and here simultaneously. So consider the possibility that your higher self is you on the ships, and you are your consciousness right here down on the as the away team, the ground crew. Yeah, work on. I got it. it's hard to articulate, but I got it, and I'm just sharing it with you guys to, when and if it's yours to do, wrap your head around that one. Okay, you, your future self came back to assist. You actually are your future self in this now moment. All of a sudden I'm starting to confuse myself. I would just leave it there. Okay, we maybe I'll get some more data and I can more fully articulate it, but it's a good one. It's a really, really good one. I like it. So back to what's going on here, down here in the trenches with us as the ground crews. That's kind of like really what I want to talk about today. Uh, let's say I got that, and we are future selves. Okay, here in the small story, there's so much confusion. And I know a lot of you guys are confused, observing, with whatever media you follow. Hopefully, you don't follow too much mainstream media because that's all lies, all basic lies. I don't follow it at all. I get all of my information from online, alternative news sources. There's a couple conservatives that I follow. There's a self-proclaimed moderate. He tickles me. He calls himself a milk toast fence sitter, but he says he's moderate leaning left, but he's not far left and he's not radical right. But he does, he calls out the excuse me, he calls out the media lies all the time. His name is Tim Pool. If it's yours to do, follow Tim Pool. He's interesting, but he gets all the sources from mainstream, and the reason I watch him is because he will allow me vicariously through him see what the mainstream is saying. Because I have no desire to turn on the TV and plug into CNN or MSNBC or CBS, ABC, yada yada yada. Not any of them. I'm not interested in what they have to say whatsoever. But Tim will, because of his middle of the road perspective, he'll pick different stories to highlight in his videos, and so I can, like I said, vicariously see what's going on in the quote enemy camp, large quotes enemy camp, and that's only being said down here in the trenches. Okay, uh, so that's why there's this confusion here. It's and a lot of the conservative channels that I follow, not I don't follow a whole lot, but like Blaze TV, Glenn Beck. I knew Glenn Beck from when he was way back there at Fox 10 years ago. Uh, they they're confused because they haven't embraced the big story. They don't embrace Q. So it's like I've said before, if you don't embrace Q as a reality, then I really don't want to listen to anything you have to say except just to kind of keep my ear to the ground and see what's going on. But your perspective, I'm not in the least bit interested in it because you don't know what you're talking about. That's why you're so confused. You know, Glenn Beck and everybody in Blaze TV, they're literally confused unless, because none of them, and I know there's one or two that pay attention to Q. Hell, maybe they all do. They just won't say it, which is why not? If you do follow Q, if you believe in Q, then why don't you speak up and say so? So what's your motivation for acting, then I got to question what you say. But the fact that you don't admit to following Q and believing in the Q movement, the White Hat Alliance, then if you just want to call it, you know, everything is as three-dimensionally we see it, and it's liberal against, conservative, right against left. If that's the arena you want to play in, yeah, I'll look in your arena every once in a while and see what's up, but I don't play in that arena with you. Your sandbox is way too small for me as a big story character. And that's why I've always referred to as the small story is the sandbox. Like I would always say, you're more than welcome. I might have said it to you guys. You're more than welcome to come interact with me in my bigger sandbox, the big story. But your sandbox is way too small for me to play in. Okay, so it just is what it is. It's not that I think I'm better than you. It's just that where I hang out, we got more room. You're more than welcome to come share it with me. It's easy as that. Somebody just walked into my house because I've been home all day by myself, but one of my housemates just came home. Okay, this silent war. Q talks about a silent war. Always talk about a silent war continues, that we are in a war. We literally are in a war. And it's silent because the secret government are exactly that, secret. And they stay that way. Like, I've asked several people in the last couple weeks, have you ever heard of the Rothschilds? And they go, no. And I go, because you never will. It is very purposeful that you never hear that name. That name is one of the top names of the secret government, the cabal. You know, they stay secret, they stay silent, they operate from the shadows. That's why, you know, when Q says there's a silent war, they're the ones that are doing the gaslighting. I've talked about that in a couple videos now. They're the ones literally doing the gaslighting because it's a war. It's to make us think we're crazy. And that's why the confusion in the small story. If you don't follow Q, you will be confused because you don't know what's truly going on. There really is a silent war. There really is a cabal. They really are supported from the lower fourth dimension by the reptilians, which again, I mentioned this to Cynthia the other day, which is exactly why we have us, our future selves in the higher dimensions, we have the galactics, we have the Palladians, the Orions, the Syrians, the Andromedans, the Arcturians. We have tons and tons of help. We have the angelics. We have tons and tons of help in service to the light because the dim guys, or I should say the cabal, who are in service to the dark, they have what I always refer to as the dim guys from the lower fourth dimension. They have them, the reptilians. There's some dark Orions. Some dark Zeta Reticulans that they choose to serve the dark, even though they're still part of the light, which is why I've always referred to them as the dim guys instead of the Dark Lords. Because I would always challenge. There's my 30-year challenge. Show me something outside of all that is. Everything is part of all that is. Even those like the Magenta Pixies, the group she channels, the White Wing collective consciousness of nine. They refer to them as the service to self faction as opposed to the service to others faction, which we're part of the service to other faction. We serve the light. So anyway, the silent war, they're the ones doing the gaslighting. Like, think about it. This whole thing with the mask. Oh, I've been meaning to say this for weeks, and I just never get to it. So because I actually wrote down mask in my notes here. This whole thing with the pandemic, because everything is frequency, everything is vibration, everything is multi-layered. What we do, what they do, all of existence is multi-layered. So on an energetic level, these masks, and which is why, oh, you ought to see my ghetto mask. Oh, where is it? I'm gonna show you part of them. I have two of them. Oh, actually, there's the one I had on yesterday. I only wear it when I absolutely have to. So far in the county that I'm at, they've made it kind of like a suggestion, not mandatory. But I was in another county yesterday because I had to go to an ophthalmologist appointment, which was in another county, just the next county over, the next town over, which is in the next county. They're still doing the lockdown, and you got to wear a mask, and even on the bus, like the county that I'm in, when you ride the bus, it's optional, so I don't wear it. But when I have to wear a mask, let me show you my protest mask. This is an energetic protest to this whole BS thing. It is so ghetto, and I'm so damn proud of it. I took a nice white clean old t-shirt of mine and I cut it up and I made two masks, and that's all it is. White t-shirt, and took a piece of it and I folded in half And then I go like this, and it's so tacky. It is. I'm so proud of the tackiness, the ghetto-ness of it. Check this out. And it's held together by a safety pin. See my safety pin on my mask? That's when I'm someplace and they insist, and in order to interact with that, whatever wherever I'm at, if in order for me to interact, they insist I put a mask on, then I pull this out of my pocket, stand there right there in front of them, and I take the safety pin out, and I take my little ghetto mask, because all they do is say you have to cover your face, your nose, and your mouth, and then I put this on like that and clasp it with a safety pin, and that I refuse to spend money and buy. Because you know what, on an energetic level, do you know what all this is about? They want you to voluntarily muzzle yourself. They want you to voluntarily close down your throat chakra. Because by universal law, whatever they do, they have to tell you. So if you voluntarily shut down your throat chakra, if you voluntarily put a muzzle on, whatever they do to you energetically on a universal level, you have no right to say anything because you acquiesce. You voluntarily muzzled yourself. You voluntarily shut down your throat chakra. You shut down your voice. And that's what they want. They want everybody to voluntarily shut up and do like you're told. Well, I absolutely refuse to, which is why, like I said, my protest, if I have to, if somebody insists and I have no alternative, then I pull this little ghetto thing out of my pocket and I put it on right in front of them. As ghetto as it is, as tacky as it is, that's my internal energetic protest. That's my private protest to this BS because it's all bullshit. But that's one of the many things that this whole thing is about. It's one of the many aspects of this silent war that we're engaged in. I've been wanting to share that for the longest time. Like the social distancing. Okay, they'll tell you, like Trump's getting ready to have a new rally in this Saturday in Tulsa. But all of a sudden, everybody's making a big deal about it. Oh, you can't. There's no social distancing. All these people are going to be too close without a mask, and yada yada. But for the last 2 weeks, they've been burning down the country and rioting and stealing and protesting peacefully and non-peacefully protesting. But nobody's saying anything about social distancing or whether or not they're all wearing masks. But as soon as the service to others faction, Trump and the Q team, as soon as they want to put on a rally, oh, everybody got to holler and scream about it, you know. And again, I'm not a Trump. I'm not on the Trump train, but I know what I see and I know what I know. Again, be 67 years old next month, and I have never ever registered to vote. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I've never registered to vote, so you know. And I'm not going to. I haven't, and I'm not going to. I have no intentions of voting. But I'm just because hell, I already know the end of the story. You know, I'm my future self. I know we win. We're just down here in the trenches assisting the movement to get to where we already are. Because multidimensionally, in the eternal now, the fifth dimension above, in the eternal now, hell, it's already done. We're already there. But we've just come down here into the lower frequencies of the third and fourth dimension to assist in moving it along, channeling light to move it along, to get to where we are, where we already are. Where we already are, we're helping get ourselves to where we already are. There's the paradox. But life is exquisite in the center of the paradox. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I have a few more things, and I'll maybe pick that up in the next video. I don't want them to go overly long. This one's longer than I intended, way longer than I intended. But anyway, we're all good. You know, I just follow spirit and say what I have to say until I'm done. But you know, this was a good segue into closing this out. As always, I love you, I support you, and blessings on your journey. Bye bye. See, now I lost my cursor. Okay, there it is. Bye.